Storytelling. Selling your story. The hook. I'm continually fascinated by the old-time advertising masters whose books tell tales of their use of mesmerizing publicity stunts to move their products, and the hooks that worked for these charlatan hawkers on the boardwalk back in the 1920s to sell tickets to sideshows and rides of the day. Personal selling was a different era, one where selling was highly entertaining and the customer or the mark was somehow involved in the sales experience itself, and at times even helped to make the sale. See the man-eating chicken. The old carney deception, see the man-eating chicken, trick embarrassed the first customer in the door as he paid his 5 cents to see a chicken who ate men, but instead, much to his surprise, was shown a man sitting down to eat a plate of chicken. The customer was then gleefully recruited to help repeat the same stunt on his friends, all to the benefit of the carney. Now wait a minute, friend, why not enjoy a laugh at the expense of others? Wouldn't that be worth much more than the 5 mere cents that you paid? Barked the carney. Many a sale was made with that hook and a willing customer. The salesman of the century. One of the most famous purveyors of outlandish sales hooks in our era was Ron Popeye, the father of the infomercial. This inventor extraordinaire is responsible for introducing products to which Americans have parted with over $2 billion at retail. If you're over 40, you will instantly recognize many of his products whose original TV pitches you are likely to have memorized. His Ronco product names and one-line pitches always contained almost unbelievable, too good to be true, highly memorable statements or hooks. The master of the sales hook. Popeye is the all-time master of the sales hook. Many of his hooks became a product unique selling proposition. Others formed a brand promise, and still others deliver an irresistible value proposition. Here are some of Ron's more famous sales hooks that you may recognize. The Vegematic Food Slicer. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you the greatest kitchen appliance ever made. All of your onions chopped to perfection without shedding a single tear. Dial-O-Matic, slice a tomato. Slice it so thin it only has one side. It slices, it dices, it even makes julienne fries. Or Mr. Microphone. Hey, good looking, I'll be back to pick you up later. Broadcast your voice on any FM radio. Or the Showtime rotisserie. Set it and forget it. Or who can forget hair in a can? Just spray it on, it looks and feels like real hair. Or the smokeless ashtray. Does cigar and cigarette smoke irritate your eyes? And the electric food dehydrator. Instead of giving kids candy, give them apple snacks or banana chips. And it's great if you're a hunter, fisherman, backpacker, or camper. It makes beef jerky for around $3 a pound, and you know what went into it because you made it yourself. The right words sink the hook. Popeye is also famous for his choice of compelling words in the sales pitch. Take advantage of this amazing TV offer. Now, how much would you pay for that? But wait, there's more. And it really, really works. Popeye's pitch essentially is a page from the old Boardwalk Carney Tricks of the Trade handbook. It's a sales process that leads your audience down a predestined sales path to the purchase. The infomercial countdown pitch. Now here's a breakdown of his most famous sales pitch I call the countdown pitch. It begins with the opening statement. Starts out with an outrageous, exaggerated, or unbelievably compelling statement sure to gain attention, such as, just spray it on, it looks and feels like real hair. 2. Show them a product with an unforgettable name. Name the product after the benefit it delivers, like the Pocket Fisherman. Make the name simple and repeat it as many times as possible during the pitch. The Feather Touch Knife as a great example. Popeye loved to repeat the name of his products to drive home the brand name. With Dial-O-Matic, you do it differently. The only thing I love about my Dial-O-Matic is for making blah, 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 and he would continue on. 3. Demonstrate the product in a highly memorable way. Be highly entertaining and demonstrate the product in an unexpected manner. Popeye hawked, how many of you cut tomatoes like this, making a series of wild stabs at an imaginary tomato? You stab it, you jab it, the juices run down your elbow. With Dial-O-Matic, you just put the machine in and wiggle. 4. Show multiple uses. With his left hand, Ron Popeye pounded on the table, instilling passion. This is the best chicken sandwich I have ever had in my life. How many times have you ever smoked turkey sandwich? Maybe you've had a smoked salmon sandwich. Aha! I'm going to say you came across a smoked salmon hors d'oeuvre or entree once every 6 months. Baby back ribs, smoked sausage, same thing. 5. The turn. Give them a price. This is the perilous moment where the entertainer turns into a businessman and must make the crowd applaud and take their money. In the old vaudevillian days, this was called the turn. I know how to ask for the money, and that's the secret to the whole damn business, said Arnold Morris. He was the demonstrator of the forerunner of the Ginsu knife. 6. Give them a lower price and continue the pitch. If the crowd is of 50 customers, 25 come forward and buy. A true carney huckster sells only 20 of them, and to the remaining 5 says, but wait, there's something else I want to show you, and keeps the crowd entertained and moving. A variation of the pitch begins again, gathering a new crowd around the original 5, and the selling frenzy begins all over again. Morris always kept a large pineapple he promised to cut with only a tiny slicer, but never actually got around to cutting it. If you cut it, they'll leave, said Morris. This kept the audience engaged in the pitch. Now, give them an impossibly low price. At this point, Popeye would begin his countdown as a timeless technique borrowed from the Boardwalk Carney Masters, where he started out with a ridiculously high price, so it seemed by the time of the end of the show that the price became amazingly low. You're not going to spend $200, not $100, not $80, and not $170, not $160, Popeye barked. Stop, Ron, stop, pleaded his partner, attempting to make it appear as if Ron was totally out of his mind, out of control, and giving the product away. The clincher. Here, one or more bonus add-ons were paraded out across the classic statement, but wait, there's more. And then came the additional free gifts. Now you can get the 3-piece knife set, the 2 Teflon spatulas, the butter knife, and a 32-page cookbook. The free gifts cinchers always usually sealed the deal. 9. Instill a sense of urgency. Order before midnight tonight was Popeye's famous motto. This call to action was made knowing that if the sale did not occur within a few minutes, the probability of a sale rapidly diminished. 10. Give them several ways to buy. Make it easy for them to give you the money. Ronco always accepted checks, credit cards, and money orders. Now, tell your story in 5 square inches. As Ron Popeye had demonstrated, selling is all about the story, but you can get anyone to buy anything with the right story. Find the right hook for the right fish. Historically, the countdown method is the time-tested way to sell a product in person and on TV. Since we have few trained salespeople in our stores today to do this job, the brand's package must achieve the same key elements of the pitch within a few square inches of shelf space. George Lucas and Steven Spielberg are nothing more than the greatest storytellers on earth. What they do in 2.5 hours with actors and lighting, you must achieve within a few square inches of your printed label that will retain a customer interest for under a second. The sales price is all about the journey. When offering upscale impulse items like one-of-a-kind handmade things, make the purchase a unique and rewarding journey for the customer. The amount of satisfaction your customers have with the products they purchase is directly related to their involvement in the purchase experience and the price they're willing to pay. Bring them along on a path of discovery where they can interact, participate with the buy-in, and they can learn a little more about the subject of interest than their friends know. Grant them this, and they will experience a passionate awakening and bond with your product. All non-necessity, non-commodity products depend on the sales approach. The sale should become a journey through which the buying experience is a quest for knowledge. It's fun and entertainment that drives the price of the product well beyond what logic should permit. The Oriental Carpet Salesman. Traditionally, the oldest sales trick in the Oriental rug business uses greed as a hook. A rug dealer offers to bring out a selection of carpets to a customer's house so that she can see how the rugs look in her house before she makes a selection. From the minute the old rug dealer enters the house, he is overtly mean and cruel to his young assistant, screaming at him and making him carry multiple heavy carpets all at once. As the old dealer goes out to check something in his van, the woman expresses her compassion toward the young assistant, who tells her more stories of beatings and abuse. As the woman and her assistant bond, the assistant says that he wants to get back at the old man and asks her for help. He tells her a very expensive antique rug in the van that's worth $25,000 and that the old man desperately needs $5,000 today that he does not have, or the bank will foreclose on his building. So the assistant suggests that if the woman were to offer him no more than $5,000, the old man would be forced to sell her the rug. She would make a killing, and together they would get even with the old man. The antique rug in question was generally an old worthless rug that they couldn't give away, but when the situation presented itself, greed was the hook that usually won over the mark, who never knew that she was being set up by the two salesmen. Retailtainment. Unless your product is serious in nature, like medical or financial, etc., don't be afraid to make it into a fun experience for the customer. People buy more when they're having fun. Entertain at retail equals retailtainment. Reward the customer with information. Make the customer a willing participant in seeking the information necessary for them to make the best possible purchase or judgment. When customers are involved in the sale and learn information of interest about the product during the sale, it satisfies the innate human obsession trait found in collecting and mass consumerism. Baseball cards, coins, and comic book collecting, elite homes, exotic cars, and oriental rug sales all share the mystique of learning while you collect. Sales of these items do not occur unless the sales process becomes a journey of learning and the buyer leaves with a stronger product knowledge base. Becoming a great storyteller. Your customer wants to have fun discovering and learning information regarding your item for sale. The better storyteller you are, the more fascinating and valuable your product will become to your customer. People pay a premium to see Disney's Cinderella film because Disney is known as a great storyteller, and they believe that they are more likely to be satisfied with a Disney version of the story than a non-Disney version. Make them beg for it. The late famed broadcaster Paul Harvey is a great example of the creating interest sales technique. In every edition of his daily radio tale, Harvey unravels the stories backwards, always saving the best for last. He elevates interest and curiosity to great heights, all the while stirring the pot of curiosity, interest, and intrigue. Listeners are fed bits of fascinating trivia about famous people, while holding back the tantalizing details until the last, always ending his story with a rewarding twist. His impeccable timing and delivery reminds one of a Bob Hope or a Jack Benny. Had Harvey told his stories forward instead of backward, it would have been a complete flop. Snake oil salesmanship. Never underestimate human vanity and sloth. Together, they trump logic and believability every time. We desire things that sound too good to be true, such as losing weight in our sleep or a magic pill, and this eventually leads to someone to make foolish choices. P.T. Barnum was the king of snake oil imagination, selling thousands of tickets to see a real mermaid or the world's tallest midget, and other fantastic sights millions have found curiously irresistible. You can still find many fantastic cure-all medications in drugstores today, such as products guaranteed to immediately remove poison ivy or pills to enhance women's breasts. The power of branding. In a blind taste test, San Francisco tap water was compared to the top bottled water brands. The local tap water was found to be superior in taste and quality to the leading brands of bottled water. Hence, the power of branding was solely responsible for millions of people willing to pay $1 more per bottle for an otherwise free commodity that anyone can easily acquire. This may explain why the famous bottled water brand Evian, spelled backwards, is naive. Tell your story. Bigger ticket items require a better story to justify their costs in the consumer's mind. The Corvette marketing team does a bang-up job of telling their story. Customers arrive at the plant to witness the birth of their very own Corvette. When you buy a Corvette, you buy into a legacy brand. Along with a car, you're purchasing an association with that legacy. Next up, the brand building process.